fan, it's I have to hate them, and I do. That they were just outclassed, outcoached, and outplayed. Yep. The Steelers did exactly what I thought they would do, and that was be terrible. They are, I think, 1-10 or 1-11 without TJ Watt in the lineup, and he was not in the lineup. So kind of tells the tale of the tape. Also, if that doesn't like define your team's MVP, I don't know what does. You cannot win without that guy. Wow. And then after the game, seeing Mike Tomlin storm off of his post-game interview was great to me. I mean, I just despise the Steelers. So, and I'm allowed to. They hate everything about my team, and I hate everything about their team. So, but the late game was a bit of a shocker to me. I just thought that the Eagles have been there before. They had all the veterans that they would win that game, but Baker willed the Bucks to win, and they beat the shit out of the Eagles. There's only one bird standing. Last bird standing is my Baltimore Ravens, so it scares me a bit. Feels like everyone's kind of duck or bird hunting out there right now, and this weekend's going to be tough. C.J. Stroud, Houston Texans, look out. Hockey world, there was quite a few games last night, but no Oilers and no Flames, so it's kind of lame for me. Tonight, let me check. I do believe both of them play tonight. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, see who plays tonight. Flames play tonight. Coyotes are in town. And the Leafs are at the Oilers, so it's guaranteed win night for the Oilers. That should be 11 in a row for them. Bunch of bums. And who knows how our game's going to go. Our team has been very wishy-washy up and down, but the Flames have been playing great as of late. So, I don't know. Am I back on the I want to win train, or am I on the let's go for the rebuild? I don't know where I sit, to be honest with you. I have no idea where I sit, but that's okay. That's okay. I assume Tyson will be on here very shortly. Just going to check any other stuff from last night here. Tyson is arriving.
Good morning, man.
Morning, Tyson. How's it going?
Oh, it's not too bad actually. Well, teams suck, but the weather is getting better. So,
So, weather is much better than the football game for you last night. Yes.
it's kind of what we expected, man. Kind of what we
Uh,
expected.
well, you shouldn't have. I mean, starting 11-1, that's one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen in my life. I just don't understand that.
Well,
And I'm getting,
I understand it, man.
but I listened to some guys last night, and they said that the Eagles really weren't that good all year. They had a very easy schedule. They said they noticed turmoil week 5 and 6, and they just said they got the schedule literally kind of fooled everybody into that team. I don't know whether to believe it or not, but their schedule, they just said they were very blessed to have the schedule that they did have. And that's
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about the schedule part, but we'll get into everything else that I am sure of. So,
because yeah, it was just it's just the weirdest way to go out to have that type of a start and to get beat by the Bucks, who really shouldn't even be in the playoffs
no,
with their record. And yeah, it was just not cool. AJ Brown not playing. Really, nobody really knows for sure if he's really banged up. He seems super angry. Um,
yeah.
I don't know what the hell. I mean, when I saw Goddard yell at Hurts on the sidelines yesterday, I mean that's a terrible look, man. Oh man,
It sure is. And good
that's no
morning and
good.
well, yeah, good morning and welcome to the Fans Perspective Morning Show. And yeah, we're talking a little Eagles, and I agree with you.
I just don't understand what happened from one year to the next. The
So
players can fight like that.
to me, of course, they missed their coordinators from last year. Both guys, they missed
Absolutely.
dearly, but I truly believe they had a look of a team that does not like the head coach. One,
Yeah.
not one of those guys, the effort level. And I'm throwing Jalen Hurts in this too. He looked dazed and lost, and I don't give a beep kind of attitude.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, he did. And he's never been that way. He's always been like the consummate pro. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Carried himself at a different level. And this was different looking and feeling. I don't know why. It had to be something very large going on.
yeah. There's something. There's some dressing room issues, obviously. The only player I can honestly say that put out is Devonte Smith. Like that guy
Yeah.
ball.
Kid's unreal. All
He,
season he balled.
he did, and he tried his damnedest last night. So I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's the one bright side. The defense is in shambles, like
Yeah.
brutal, brutal. I truly believe there's a house cleaning coming. I don't think it quits at the coordinators. Jeffrey Lurie, the Eagles owner, is not running it back with the same head coach. He ain't gonna watch this another year. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are billionaires.
Yep.
He's like a Jerry Jones kind of guy,
He
and if
is.
you
Yeah.
don't put out, you are out.
Yeah, there's going to be a massive cleaning. Players as well. They have so many free agents coming up. It's absurd, and I don't think after this year they're really happy. I mean, after last year would have been they'd have been fighting to get everybody back to rebuild and not rebuild but retool it again. But this year it's going to be a ton of new faces coming into Philly
Yeah,
next year because this after that start that there's just massive disappointment and I just that franchise can't handle losing. Like their fans are the psychoest bastards ever between them and the Raiders. And the Raiders are used to losing, so it's okay. The Eagles ones are not. Like they will
well,
burn half that city down if they have to. They will do all sorts of shit.
here's what a little bit of analysis. Beans, they made the Super Bowl last year. I think that was like a little bit of makeup on a girl that you take to town. Really, she's not as pretty as you think, but man, after all that makeup, she looks like a 10, eh? But
Yeah,
the Eagles were kind of like that. Yes, they were good last year. They hit their stride right at the end, but I believe Philly's too old. I really do. They got too many old guys. The Fletcher Cox, the Graham, the Travis Kelsey is maybe one of the old guys that you could say, okay, we can run with yet. But there's a lot of guys there that are on the wrong side of 30 and by a long shot.
yeah,
They can't be playing all those snaps that they were. As we discussed yesterday, this is turning into a young man's game. It
yeah.
really is.
You need a couple old guys on
Yeah,
each side of the ball to keep the young guys in line. But after that, you're right. If you don't have the best of the old guys like that, it can be a massive problem. You're slower. I mean, you
yeah,
might know the game better and whatnot, but you do so you need a couple guys out there. But when
sure.
the whole team becomes a bunch of veterans,
Yeah,
that's a problem at the same time.
it is. Philly needs two corners. Their corners are terrible. Slay and Bradbury. They
Yeah,
degraded themselves so bad from
they did
last,
this year.
like horrible. No linebackers at all. Not one linebacker made a tackle last night that I seen.
Yeah, the tackling was poor, and that right down the middle there. Yeah, you were right. They hit everybody but couldn't bring nobody down.
No,
It was
no.
just like they didn't want to be there almost is what it
Yeah,
looked like. Like
it did, and
it was just another week, another day at work is what it looked like. It didn't look like, we're here to win something. It was like just another day at the office. And sometimes that's saying when you're a professional athlete, that's not the way it is. You have to elevate. It can't just be
no,
another day. It's
exactly.
playoffs, baby.
Yeah, so I truly believe you're going to see a retool and a rebuild a bit, and I think Philly will take a step back for a year or two. I really do believe they had a lot of draft picks last year. They got some corner pieces.
Yep,
They got Kobe Dean as a middle linebacker, and Jalen Carter and Jordan Love they got, and Devonte Smith, and but that's their next group they have to build around. Jalen Hurts,
that's
of
right.
course. So they're going to have to take a step back and retool. And let's be honest, that $55 million contract of Jalen Hurts is going to force them to retool a bit. You
Which
can't.
it's going to force every team. I mean, almost every team's invested like that. My God, it's It's just the way that it's going to be, and it's going to get worse this offseason. There's going to be a few more signings, and so that's just normal, sadly. But
Well,
every team's going to be forced to retool a bit because of the massive quarterback contracts.
yeah, I think you've seen a trend, but I wonder to myself after seeing all those big time quarterbacks struggle this past season, or a lot of them who signed it, not Lamar, but Joe Burrow didn't have an outstanding year. Jake Allen, you can say wasn't tremendous, but I'm wondering when we get over that hill and start bringing the quarterback contracts down a bit, because we've learned a lesson, which me and you've seen all along. We've learned that lesson that we cannot be paying these guys that much because they are affecting our overall team.
It's yeah, I've never seen a sport pay someone and then stop paying as much. I think it just has to stop where it's at, but I don't think it's going to get less. I don't think like it's impossible. The NFL created that freaking monster,
They
and
did.
Jason Kelsey just retired.
Yeah, I seen that this morning too. So
Unreal.
you could tell last night at the end of the game, he was done. He didn't take the
That
helmet
makes
off.
me sad.
Yeah, there were lots of emotions on his face, and you know what? Probably one of the best
Oh,
offensive linemen in
agreed.
in
That's
league history.
terrible. That sucks for the game. I didn't want to see him go. I love that guy. I'd have liked to have seen him maybe get picked up for one season by some contender next year. It would have been great. I mean, he's an
Yeah,
Eagle guy, so it's great to go out with your team. I understand that, but a guy like that, I want him to win at the end. I loved him, man. He was a
yeah.
cool
Well,
dude.
he,
Way
he
cooler
did.
than his brother.
He did win one the
He
last time
did.
he win, so good
He
on him.
did.
And I truly believe Jason, maybe Travis could retire as well. I would not be
Yeah.
shocked. They've
They're both exhausted. I mean, Travis, he's got a Hollywood star life now. So Travis might as well quit. He's probably making more money off of Pfizer and all that garbage, anyways. That
yeah.
poser. But
Well,
Jason's a family man. He's gonna enjoy this. I could see Jason being a coach though,
he
and
could.
like
He could.
probably
Um,
coaching the offensive line in 3 to 5 years. I would say he'll take some time off with his family. He'll be
yeah.
back though. He's too smart. He was too damn good and had to work too hard to get there. He's going to want to share some of that.
Yeah, and it depends, on his young family. Does he want to spend time around them? Because these coaches, I mean, they
They're
have
like
a
a
group.
player, fully invested like a player. They're at the stadium. They're watching film. They have to do the same shit that a player does.
They're
But that's
godmoms.
all he's known since he's been 9 years old. So it's tough to take that out of those guys. When you're an elite and a star and a guy that has been very strict to his career and his craft,
Yeah.
normally it's like a 3 to 5 years and they're back. Or I could see Jason being on TV because he is entertaining as hell. I
Oh,
love
for
his
sure.
big dopey bearded look. He's humorous. Yeah, I love that man.
He could be a
My
play-by-play
favorite
guy.
Eagle ever,
He could
Jason
be
Kelsey.
he could be a play-by-play guy. There would not.
Oh, I would listen to him over that stupid Chris Collingsworth massaging damn Mahomes every game. I hate that guy. Collingsworth. Oh, that was an interception there by the Chiefs. But did you see how beautiful the pass was from Mahomes? Oh, even when he throws an interception, it's a beautiful thing. I want to reach through the TV and be like, shut up. He threw an interception like every other quarterback. You would say, oh, that was a bad decision on that one, not this one. What a beautiful throw. It did get intercepted, but man, Mahomes, even when he intercepts it, he can throw. It's like, shut up.
I gotta tell you, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are very good announcers. I
I like
like
those
them.
guys. I like
Yeah,
those guys.
and I do like Tony Romo. Tony Romo was a great analysis.
He's Nostradamus. He calls the plays before they happen. He's
Yeah,
unbelievable. He's like, I think he's going to run a slant here. And the slant, bam. It's like, you just
yeah,
know that man has studied so much film and so many defenses. He knows.
yeah. He's great. And Tom Brady, after a year off, he will be starting in the fall as Fox. I think it's Fox's announcer, if I'm
I
not
think
mistaken.
so. Yep. Tom Brady will
Because
be great. Tom Brady's
yeah,
great at everything he does.
because
Too
Aikman
bad.
and Buck went from Fox to ESPN for the Monday night.
Yes. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think Tom Brady gets Fox, and yeah, he's got a big lucrative deal waiting him there.
Ooh,
So,
bigger than he ever made in playing. It's unbelievable, actually. And
but yeah, moving forward in the NFL, enough
Well, we
crying.
haven't talked about my favorite game of the day yesterday, watching the Steelers just get dog shit pumped. That was a beautiful thing for me. I sure hate them guys. That was beautiful.
I wanted to talk about one play in particular that almost turned that game around though. When when Buffalo went for the field goal, had it blocked,
Yep.
their kicker gets hurt on the
Yep.
play, who is the holder for field goals,
Yep.
pulls a hammy, and man, that almost turned that game in a different
If it was
direction.
any other team but the Steelers, it would have turned the game. But when you have no offense and the bottom three worst quarterback in the league, and your best quarterback, your receiver is Pickens,
Yeah.
there was nothing. Their defense was gonna have to outscore Buffalo. That at that point in time, that play would have turned the tide for any team with any type of offense. But there was at no point was I afraid of the Steelers ever in that game. Even when they got it a little, I think it was 17-24. I was like, man, like all the Bills have to do is make one defensive play. Like those guys, they're terrible. Holy hell, watching that. Buffalo did not play good. Josh Allen had a good game, but the rest were brutal. There was drops by Diggs. Their defense was holy. Like I'm not confident yet in them either. He had a really good game though. Josh Allen willed them like 52-yard touchdown. He was phenomenal, but the rest of their team did not look great, but they still beat the shit out of the Steelers, which, like I
They,
said, being a Ravens guy, I have to have it happen. I mean, I didn't want to play them. The Steelers
they
always
have
have our number.
Yeah, Buffalo had that one little receiver who was tremendous too. Man, he had speed and will. I can't think
Yeah,
of
he's
his
a
name.
fast little guy. I call
Oh,
him wishy-washy. He'll
yeah.
next week he'll get 5 throws and 5 targets and 0 catches. I'm not really sure. He's just one of those guys. Yeah, I don't know, like a Nelson Aguilar, which you can probably
Yeah,
attest to. You had
yeah.
him one game, 120 yards. The next game, -6. You're like, what
Dalton
in the hell?
Dalton Kincaid would looked okay for Buffalo yesterday
Yep,
too. The big
he's good.
Yeah, but their field goal kicker looks. I'd be getting a new kicker this week. Like, did you see that field goal at the end? Like, he barely hit the stadium yet.
Uh,
Right.
dude, for as many good kickers as there are out there, yeah, they definitely don't have one.
Oh, if it comes down that I envision Super Bowl, New York Giants, Buffalo Bills, where they missed the field goal.
Oh,
I envision him kicking it out of the corner of the end zone.
yeah, could you imagine, man? Oh, dude, I don't
Oh,
understand it. There's a lot of good kickers out there. They better go get one because
wow.
I don't
I'd
know.
be signing one this week
That
because
Chiefs game is going to be tight. Mahomes is not going to go down easy. Mahomes could win. I mean, Mahomes is always in it. Do you know this is his first time in his entire career, other than a Super Bowl game, that he's played a
both.
playoff game away from home? That's unbelievable. It's not like he's only been in the league for 1 year. He's been in the league for a lot of years and in the playoffs every year. That's incredible.
As
Holy
much
shit.
as I don't like Mahomes, he is elite,
Oh,
elite.
he is a winner. He's
The
a winner.
best. So as it stands right now, I think Jalen Hurts has taken a step back. I don't know if Hurts is in the top five even, but there's Lamar Jackson. There is Mahomes. I would put Joe Burrow in there.
Yeah.
Jake Allen. That's my top four right there. And there's maybe who would I would say Justin Herbert belongs in there as a top five guy. And then
Yeah,
after that,
we'll have to wait. We'll have to see till next year. I would agree with that statement just because I love Herbie, but we'll have to see him throw the ball. This year, he really didn't get to. He had no
no,
receivers, so. But I'm at the end of the year. I mean, Stafford really moved up there to me. Man, he was electric when he had
he
both of his
was.
receivers back. Um,
Yeah.
there were
But he
just
would
some
be
guys.
a
There were some
yeah,
guys that could move the field, and some guys that just, for some reason, this year, like you said, everybody seemed like they got paid, and it was like, now I got my bag. I got my
yeah,
bag. And it's like they took like a relaxation period, which can
yeah.
happen. Ask Tom Brady. You can't relax for one moment or you will lose in this league. And he said it multiple times that the quarterback position took a massive step back in
Well,
the last 2 years. And he's right.
here's my analysis to that is instead of taking the lunchbox to work, they took the money bag to work.
I
And they would
agree, man. They
the
took
money bag and that's
threw
all
it
they
over
could.
the shoulder
Yeah.
and walked into work with it. They took the bag with them. It's ridiculous, man. It's everything's become so much about money, and they've created that problem.
Brutal.
And it's sad. It really is because there's still some good players. I mean, the NFL is still the NFL. It's amazing, great to watch. But some of those guys, the money means everything. And what you'll find out at your age and my age and in real life, it you just need enough money to have enough. After that, it's absolutely ridiculous. It actually creates more problems than it fixes. There is no question. You need
Well,
it to work, to do what you need to do, to raise your family, to live, somewhat comfortably. Nobody needs a gold elevator. But after that, it does become a problem. It really does.
and you're talking a different level of money as well.
Yeah,
Like,
totally. Like that's something us and 90% of the listeners, sadly, guys, will never experience that type of life.
no,
And it's probably a good thing because some of us would probably change for the worse. We all say we wouldn't, but that much money does things to a person. Jesus, man.
you get bored. You get
Yeah.
bored.
And then cocaine. You get
Yeah,
bored, and then cocaine. It's the only thing that excites me. Cocaine for breakfast, cocaine for lunch, cocaine for dinner, baby.
yeah.
And then you make really stupid decisions.
Stick with the bacon and eggs, and
Exactly. I love bacon and eggs. I can barely afford the bacon, but you know what? I do it anyways. I treat myself, and
yeah.
I'm pretty good. I go to work on bacon and eggs. Life's pretty good.
Well, and yeah, they got money. Like any of these,
Coming out the wazoo.
yeah, like 50 some $1 million. You can't imagine how much
No, you cannot
paycheck
imagine. He pays,
every
those guys
week.
pay more in taxes in one season than we'll make in our lifetime.
Yeah, I can't get over. So if they're making 50 some million, what are the owners making?
Billions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
It's
When you look at ticket sales, what a beer costs, a hot dog, shirts, hats, sweaters, whatever you want to, that all goes to the owner.
that's right.
And and we build the stadiums for the owner to use for
I was gonna
free.
say
Yeah,
taxpayer dollars pay for most of them, other than Jerry Jones.
yeah,
They paid for their own, but I don't know if any other owners have done that, built their own empire, and that's a problem. At the end of the day, I think that's the issue in Dallas is that the owner is way too involved, and that's why
yeah.
I do believe Belichick will not go there. He
No,
he
I
was in
don't
an
think so
interview.
either.
He was in an interview yesterday with the Falcons. He went and had a meeting with the Falcons
Yeah,
owner, and I think he's a better fit in Chargers just because the Chargers are already ready to go, and I don't think Belichick should be in a rebuild. He's that would suck for him, honestly.
he's
But
not going to a rebuild. He's not
I
going to.
don't think so. But I mean, like Dallas, I feel bad for any coach that has to come in there because when you're being micromanaged and you have to run the team his way, it's not being ran your way, and the coach is supposed to take control and create a winner. But how does he
You,
do that when you don't have full control?
you know who I think the best fit is in Dallas? Mike
Who?
Vrabel. Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe he's the best suited for that situation. He's going to have money to sign players. I mean, they go out and they get guys. There is no
Yeah.
question. Dallas
Yeah.
does.
They
But
do.
he is a bit of a hard ass, and Dak Prescott and the boys are going to get put in line. I truly
Yeah.
believe.
I agree with that, but I don't know if Jerry Jones would pick him because Jerry Jones generally picks a passive guy. That's what he always has. Mike McCarthy's a passive guy. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
listen to him, and Jerry wants control. I don't know if Jerry will go out and get an aggressor because it might butt heads with him, and that's still his team, and that's the issue. Like, I listened to yesterday Marcus Spears, talk
yeah.
about it on his show, and he's there for 8 seasons, and he said it isn't the coach. You can put any coach in there. I felt bad for Garrett. I felt bad for McCarthy. All these guys. The owner. I played in Baltimore. He said for 3 years. He said towards the end of my career, I met Biscotti twice, and it was
Never knew
out
the
the
owner.
stadium. He's like, that's it. He's like, Jerry Jones is at every practice, down in the field, talking to the guys, schmoozing with us in the dressing room. He goes, Coach has no control. They're being looked after. They can't say nothing. They can't do nothing. He's like, the culture starts there. He's like, the owner just owns the damn team. They don't run it. They put people in places to build a winner. He's like, and they're not doing it right. And I was like, I never thought of it. I was like, he's right. They can flip flop all the coaches they want, but until Jerry Jones lets someone do something, it's always going to be ran his way. And he's never won.
And I think the Jones family is the GM too. Like
They
I think
might be, yeah, for all I know, they probably are.
Not Jerry, but I think another Jones is the GM actually.
Jeez.
But that is something with Bill Belichick that I found interesting last night when they were talking about him. He's bringing in his own player guy, GM.
Okay.
So wherever he goes, so it's going to take a lot because basically the team has given up full control. If you get
Yeah.
Belichick, you are bringing in your own GM guy.
Well,
So
then the Chargers are the best fit, really.
I actually think Harbaugh's going to the Chargers.
Do
I
you?
think
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
Harbaugh's. Yeah,
I could see Harbaugh in there for sure. Absolutely. I could also see him at a place like Atlanta.
yeah.
Um,
Well,
you know, because they're young, and I think he's going to want some youth as well. But I guess it'll depend on who's paying more. Really, those guys, they're looking for a bag too for them
everything
coaches.
changes. Philly's going to have an opening
Philly would
after.
be a great spot for Harbaugh.
Yeah,
That's a good squad. They've got the pieces to start already. They got
yeah.
a quarterback. They got a great receiver. They got good tight ends. They've got pieces.
And is Mike Tomlin on his way out of Pittsburgh? Like,
According to his interview, no. Second they brought it
well,
up, that guy walked the hell up. Yeah. But
he's on his last year though, and
yeah,
obviously there was some sourness to me with that contract, right? He
I
did
don't know
not
what.
appear to be happy. Now, that is Mike Tomlin in a nutshell. Does not appear to be
Yeah.
happy. But is he moving on or is he gonna,
I hope he does because man, he breeds winners there. Even when they suck, they make the playoffs. They'll beat the Ravens that year. They'll be, right in the hunt. Even when they suck, they have a winning record. I don't understand it. I want him gone because that
I
team should have won 3 games this year.
I can see Tomlin taking a year off, just
Yep.
taking a step back and refreshing because man, he's been 20 some years as
Oh
the
yeah.
coach. And those guys get tired too.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Man, I just looked yesterday. Andy Reid's career in Philly and his career in Kansas City are absurd. Like 130 some wins in Kansas City, 120 some in the Eagles. Holy shit, has he played a lot or coached a lot? Like,
he's one of the
holy
best
balls,
best
man.
coaches in history, I believe, Andy Reid.
442 games in
Yeah.
regular season. That doesn't include his playoffs, and that guy makes playoffs a lot.
But I believe as well his reign is coming a bit to an end too because you've seen this year with KC some arguing, some bickering on the bench. Travis Kelsey got into Andy Reid's face and he
Yeah.
sat his ass down. It seems like when shit like that starts appearing, um, you got a very small window.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's all because these players are hotheads. Like that's the
Yeah.
one of the winningest coaches, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I would put him in the top 5, hands down. Big
Oh
Red is
yeah.
up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, even though he hasn't won as much as Belichick, because no one has, he's
No.
right up there with him. In
Well,
my opinion, I love those two guys. Right now, I would want to play for Big Red, and these players seem to be allowed to do whatever the hell they want and make coaches leave and cause issues. And you know what? All these Le'Veon Bells and Antonio Browns and all this shit, get the hell out of here, man. We don't want you bunch of head cases. Chandler Jones, another one there. He's singing songs now on the internet. High as the kite. Like what is going on? We're letting these players dictate the coaches' lives. Like,
yeah.
no, that's not how it's supposed to work.
Andy Reid, as far as I'm concerned, Bill Cowher's in the Hall of Fame. Andy Reid's a better coach than Bill Cowher.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, he'll be in there. Andy Reid is going. No
Jimmy
question.
Johnson, another great coach, but a very small window,
Yes.
really. Andy
Yes.
Reid, I don't know if there's been another coach that's coached for as long as Andy Reid has.
I don't know. Man, it's huge. Like when
Tomlin.
they put up his 2 careers, 2 different careers,
Yeah,
really, full
yeah.
careers. I was like, that can't be right. He could not have won over 125 games with each of those teams. That's fucking insane. There's no way. I Google it. Sure as shit. I was like, holy hell, Big Red has been a winner since out the womb. And
Yeah.
2 separate careers. It's absurd.
He obviously has good control of his dressing rooms,
Yeah.
for a long time because
Yeah.
you don't get that longevity if you don't.
Mm-mm. No, you don't. And he's been lucky to have some great quarterbacks, some
Yeah.
great teams. But I mean, he builds them.
And
So
He's a big man. It looks like he could eat you for lunch.
Loves them
And
cheeseburgers. Loves them
yeah.
cheeseburgers.
And he probably could plant you in the floor if
Oh
you.
yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with him, man. I'm also 5'6" though, but I'm pretty sure those NFL boys don't mess with Big Red either. So tonight, your Oilers go for 11, Tyson. Is that right?
Yes, they do.
All
Yes,
right.
they do. So
They got
yeah,
the Leafs in town.
I know. And another 3-day rest. Like I'm
Yeah.
like I was checking last night. I was like, they gotta be playing. Like how many? Edmonton only plays every third day. It seems like
Yeah, the schedule is just so weird. The Flames kind of play almost on every night that the Oilers play. It seems they play on the same nights.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Kind of weird. Yeah,
Edmonton
that's
at
crazy.
some
11
point.
wins.
Edmonton at some point is going to be playing every night. It looks like because they're way behind in
Yeah,
games.
well, they'll catch up. There'll be like a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, and that immediately catch you up one. Then they'll do it again. They'll get caught up, but when they get caught up, they're going to be ahead of a lot of teams that are behind because I
Yeah,
don't see
well,
this freight train stopping anytime soon. When you're clicking, you're clicking. That's how sports works, man.
yeah. Well, hopefully they didn't click too early, as the old
No,
saying goes. You
no.
know.
As long as they stay healthy, it won't matter. You got to click early in this league just to make sure you're in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're better than they were last year, in my opinion.
Well,
They're
they're
more
further ahead.
well-rounded. They learned how to lose. They saw what can happen quick at the start of this year, and they worked through that.
Yeah,
It sucks when you come on these 11 game streaks at the start of the season without losing. There is always a falter, but they
yeah.
faltered hard at the start. So no, I don't. I wouldn't worry that without injury. I wouldn't worry about that.
It was ugly at the beginning.
Oh, it's terrible.
Let's call a spade a spade. It was
Yeah.
ugly. But yeah, they're hitting their stride and good to watch. Good watching.
Oh yeah, they're fast hockey team,
Yeah.
fun to
Good
watch.
game in the WHL tonight as well as Swift Current Broncos are in Medicine Hat tonight. So
Okay, right on.
yeah, if it wasn't so cold and I didn't have hockey practice, I'd be going to Medicine Hat. But
I'll have a late one tonight. You know, I know it's not on television, but I do have a rec game tonight myself, and we're going with right now I think 5 skaters and me and net. So we're gonna
oh
yeah.
boy,
So the show probably will be canceled for tomorrow and back on the next day because I assume we'll be home late, and I'm gonna be dog shit terrible. But
oh, you could just do the show live when you get home.
yeah, nobody wants to see me after the game. Nobody wants to see me during the
So
game.
where
We'll just
where do you play tonight?
burst all.
Burstall.
AKA the Arctic tundra of all Southwest arenas. For some reason, that bastard, if it's minus 40 outside, it's not bad in there. 5 days later, it's like it hits a little bit later.
Yeah.
Now it's later. It's about 4 days past that minus 50 some wind chill. I assume that arena is just going to be one giant ice cube by the time we get in there. And they always, thanks a lot, Burstall, but I always find you kind of just turn off the heat the day that the old barrels show up in our dressing room every damn time. 2 years ago, I brought my own heater. It was absurd.
That's funny. And yeah, it is cold. I mean, on the weekend it was cold in the rinks and
Yeah,
it's
where were you this last weekend? Gull Lake, one of them, right?
Gull Lake on Friday night and then Saturday in Maple Creek, and it was nice in Maple Creek
Yeah,
rink.
Maple Creek's arena is awesome. Damn it, is
Yeah,
that awesome.
I went from wearing a toque, gloves, everything in Gull Lake to normal in Maple
That's
Creek.
awesome. Maple Creek's arena is awesome. I remember last year I went to one of Donnie's senior games, and it wasn't that cold, but it was like
Yeah,
minus 30 outside without wind.
yeah,
And there, I was in there drinking up top. You know, it was nice. And I
yeah,
had a jacket on, no gloves, no toque, just a ball cap.
yeah. No,
It was really
it
nice in
was
there.
gorgeous, and of course the warm temperatures are coming, so
They are. They
things
are.
are looking up for this weekend. Gonna
Yeah.
get a little snow this week, I think, and
Yep. Which is great. I heard, I'm trying to think of where I heard, but there was massive issues with pipes freezing, all sorts of stuff. We're
Regina.
really lucky in our area. I mean, I know you had some furnace issue. A
Yeah,
couple people had that, but all together, like, you know, we were blessed not to have massive major catastrophes throughout that kind of cold shit can happen. And I heard of some nightmares. I don't remember where it was, but man, guys,
Regina
pipes
had
are freezing and shit, filters freezing off and all sorts of stuff to their home heating oil. And, you know, and then I watched a program that was sent to me on an insurance link, of course.
yeah,
And it's like, because there was people talking about like, don't command start your vehicle. It's actually not good for it. Can create a bit of water in the fuel from condensation and all this stuff. And then there was a guy that's like, yeah, it might create a little bit of that. Absolutely. there's already a too much water in our fuel. We can't help that. Like it's coming right from the, you know what I mean? Like kind of thing. Like unless you're using premium fuel and you're driving a Bim or a Mercedes, he's like, it's just the way it is. He said, but he's like, and then he showed a video of oil, used oil in a vehicle at minus 35 and new oil in a vehicle. New oil is definitely much more fluid,
Yeah,
but both at minus 35 without a wind chill get very solid. And so if you just
sure.
hop in a vehicle and run it for 2 to 5 minutes and drive, he's like, damn on you. That is hard on your vehicle if you don't have a garage. He's like, if
Yeah,
you're leaving your vehicles outside, you plug them bastards in. And then he showed like after 40 minutes, it still was not, liquid, but it was probably
better.
twice or three times
Yeah,
as, like not so jelly anymore. It was more like a thick liquid, more like a syrup, where when it started, it was more like a thick honey. And he's like, that's what your vehicle's got to work through. It's got to push that through. It's got to, use that. And you're not doing that. And it was kind of cool to see, with insurance and whatnot. And they always let us
100%.
know, it was just kind of cool. We get lots of tidbits like that, or, furnace information and whatnot. And there's a new tool right now for electric dryers where instead of running your vent outside, which everyone does, you
Yeah,
can run it inside. And then there's a little end on it. And what it is, it's got a massive filter on it. So it pushes the hot air back into your house and catches all the shit. And they're like, that's great and all. But do you know that like your clothes give off stuff and there's plastics and whatnot? It's all going in the air for you to be ingested, even though the filter catches the lint. They're like,
yeah,
now a gas dryer, you die because it actually sends the fumes out while it's working sometimes. It's totally
yeah, yeah,
different.
for
But
sure.
even electric, they said there's shit in there and they're pushing this thing massive. And sure enough, after I watched it, of course, popped up all over my Facebook feed, this little box filter all over my TikTok, everywhere. It was even on Amazon. There was a link to it when I logged on, but they shut that down. They're like, don't use it. I know it'll warm up your furnace room and help heat the house when you use your dryer and everything. He's like, but it's like ingesting particles you can't see. He's like,
Yeah,
you'll get sick. It's like mold almost. He said it's not good to be ingesting little fibers of plastics. And I was like, you see those things, and it's like, oh, it's kind of cool to learn different things,
it is. It
kind of
is.
neat.
And we learned one other thing on the weekend is how stupid the federal government is. They're
Oh,
mandating all this electrical stuff,
and then we
electrical
had to
cars.
borrow power to our neighbors.
Yeah, Saskatchewan had to send power to Alberta because they didn't have enough power when it was cold. So, how on earth, you tell me, explain this, do they expect us to go over to electric?
But
Not
you know,
doable.
and then I don't remember who it was. Someone from Edmonton, of course, the Liberal NDP hub there. Um, I don't know who it was from what program, but it popped up all over my TikTok, and they're like, "Wow, the reason we had no power and all the power was being drained is because we got all these." And then, like they use the term rigor, like just harsh towards the blue collar guys, which just pissed me off. Plugging in all their big diesel trucks, and you know how much power that uses for a block heater. And the other guy, the thing's like, wait a minute. He's like, let's do some research. And she's like, that an EV draws less power. And it's like, no, they did the research. No, they don't. They suck way more power than your little block heater. Like, no, that is so false. And she's like, well, there's a billion. And then she went on to like, well, there's way more block heaters than there is EVs. And then they said, well, do you know how many EVs there are and how many have been like plugs have been installed in homes and whatnot? All those numbers were available. And
Yeah.
like she was just dead wrong about everything she said. And at the end, it just ended with that. She was pissed off. He was kind of like, you could tell in his face, like, you're an idiot. And that was kind of the end of that little segment. But yeah, like they believe that we're the ones. It's always us. It's not their EVs. Their EVs are not the problem. We're plugging in our vehicles. We've always had cold snaps. We've always plugged our vehicles in. We've never drained the power grid down until your stupid EVs.
Brainwashed is what they are. And
Brainwash.
I just don't see how electric vehicles, like a trip to Edmonton, one guy was on from Regina, took him 2 days.
Yep.
2 days to get from Regina to Edmonton because he had to strategically charge, like, and it wasn't very long. And he was charging and then sit for 2 hours. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
They've got quick charge stations set up. Swift Current Maple Creeks is a quick charge, all that stuff. But in the cold, it charges slower than the regular charge in the summer.
yeah,
And I don't know, maybe it was the same story, but he said he spent 9 hours charging to drive a 9 hour trip in the end. The total distance was like 9 hours, and his charging was 9 hours. So he actually had to stay overnight in between.
yeah. And
It,
let's not even go to the place where to dispose of these electric batteries.
Yeah.
How
We don't even have to go into that side of it. There's no
no,
logical solution to own it unless you're rich and it's your summertime wagon and you can afford to just pay for one cash and you want to save some money in the summer. But why the hell do you want to save for some in the summer if you can afford 60,000 cash on an electric car? I don't know where the logic is there because it's not a 24/7, 12-month a year logical vehicle in this country. I'm sorry, it is not. It is
and
not.
no, it is not, and it's a money grab because the government invested in electric and guaranteed all the MPs have invested, and that's why they
Yeah,
want to
because
steal.
they're getting kickbacks.
They're getting kickbacks, and it's kind of like plant-based beef. It's a fad, and it's gonna go away, man. If you
Beef
want
does
to,
not come from plants, people. If you don't know that already, beef comes from beef, cattle.
it's it's
For the love of God, I ate
yeah.
steak last night. I didn't eat an asparagus. I didn't eat a turnip. I had a mother steak
Hey,
last night. It was delicious.
can you grind up your asparagus and make it look like a steak?
You know
Is
what?
that
A little bit of food coloring, maybe some hormones, and we could make it look like some steak seasoning, make it kind of taste like it. Like that's like I go to my buddy's house and he was all in this health kick. He's like, dude, we're having cauliflower steaks tonight. I said, that doesn't make any sense, and that makes you an idiot. I was like, just call it, we're having cauliflower. Like, I mean,
you go?
this, what the
Did you
hell?
did you say you go ahead? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get myself a
I
steak.
flew over to Arby's and got me an all beef cheddar. Yeah, like dude, and it was good. It's a great side. I make it now a lot. A little olive oil,
Yeah,
steak seasoning. You cut the whole thing in half, and you got like a whole giant chunk. Looks like the size of a steak, but it's not a cauliflower steak. It's just cauliflower. It
yeah.
just you season it like steak because steak seasoning is delicious. But
Wow.
it's just people go too far. Like I put that on the side, and the steak's on the other side of the plate. Like I got steak and cauliflower. It's delicious, fantastic.
By the way, I got a message from Maddie. She says the seasoning I got from you
Yeah.
make an excellent Caesar rimmer. She says
Oh,
you put that on your Caesar glass, and
there we
she said
go.
beautiful, beautiful.
Really? Well,
Yes.
it is a mixture of 5 different types of steak seasoning. So that would
Yeah.
make sense because you want lots of salt in there, and there is heavy salt in that some gun.
Yeah. She said no, that's excellent for Caesars. So
Well,
just a heads
Fatty,
up.
I like it. I like it.
And she's in university, so she'd know all about
Yeah,
it.
I mean that's basically breakfast.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's how start the day going to class.
I'd like to start it this way, but Donnie always gets mad when I come in reeking like booze. So I had to refrain, for 2024, just water.
Then you got to go hide in your little office, kind of until it clears up, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make a coffee, kind of evades the smell a bit, you know.
You
Oh
betcha, you
shit.
betcha. Well, it's been a great morning. We digested the Eagles, and we'll be back on Thursday because
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
playing
Thursday
hockey.
morning we'll be back. Like I'm gonna take tomorrow off because I'm gonna be sore and I'm gonna be home late. I'm old and I don't get up well at 6 a.m. when I get home at 2 or 1 or 2 or whatever time we're gonna get home. Depends on the beers afterwards. So
Yeah.
and being that we have 5 guys right now, Donnie's hoping for 6. I might die. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, maybe we won't beat it back Thursday. It might be
Yeah,
like,
if not, Tyson will
if
have
not,
a memorial show for Josh.
yeah, we'll do a live show from Josh's funeral. We'll get guests on and talk
Well, Donnie
about.
could put sunglasses on me like Weekend at Bernie's and just prop me up here, and you can just handle the show.
Well, I guess you couldn't get any worse looking, so that
No, you
probably.
can't. And you could even like put a speaker up. Someone could talk for me, and that'd be good. We could do this.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that would be weekend at Josh's. We'll call it.
Yeah, not a very fun weekend here. My kids are nuts.
Well, could Cam be the guy, like the boss, where we're going to his island house and this cat? Well, you know what? If we get enough snow around your dad's yard, there could be like water. We
Might
could,
have to build a moat.
yeah, yeah. And I could bring my little pontoon rubber dinghy boat up and we'll row across to the.
One time when I lived there, we had to build a wall out of Auntie Delsa had to haul in 5 or 6 semi-loads, not semi-loads, big flat deck trailer loads of bales, and we had to
Yeah,
get the water to go around the house. Back when I was a kid, we had
there
a
we
ton of
go.
snow and it melted down the hill, and our house would have been absolutely toast. We saw it coming. Like we saw the water was right at the top of the hill. We have a slough in the back, and it filled up like an entire half quarter section, and we're like, if it melts anymore and there's still a lot of snow left in the hills, Dad's like, it's coming over. So that day or the day before, we just started hauling bales and stacking them and whatnot, and they worked so good, man. It came right over and came directly at the house, like we kind of assumed it was going to, and
Yeah.
directed it right around the house. It was so cool. I wish there had been cell phones back then, but the day it started, Dad's like, you could see it trickling over the hill, and all of a sudden, like the water was this deep,
Yeah.
almost a foot and a half, 2 feet. Like we went and walked in it, and man, it was heavy. Like you could feel it against you, but it was the entire like slough and dugout just coming over. And then after the year after that, we built like a dike and we built a whole bunch of stuff, which we never assumed would, and we've never needed it since. Now it sits at like the top of a hill. There's no water for miles. It's way down there. It's unbelievable that that rose and came up and almost flooded us.
Tell me what it is about spring though, when there's water flowing and you have to go walk in it. Like
Yeah.
that is a country boy thing. Totally. Like, oh, that looks pretty deep. I
Yeah.
should probably
I
walk
better
in
go
it.
check it. I better go check the water. Yeah, it's like you grow up with it. It's like, I think it's because we never get rain. We never
Yeah.
get water. Spring's the only time we see this liquid, and we're like, look at this. We're splashing
Yeah.
in it like little children. Yeah.
And back you come with two boots full of water,
Full
and
of water. Just so stupid. Yeah. Such an idiot. Yeah.
that, the next spring, if it happens again, you're right back
Oh
in the.
man, if my dad got close to flooding again, I'd put them bales back up and I'd be running through it with Parker and Levi and Lily.
I love it, and making a raft as a kid.
We did that. We walked all the way up to the top and we took our like we had an old style like a plastic tubey toboggan thing, and it
Yeah.
almost looked like a canoe. Oh yeah, we rode it down about halfway before we filled it with water and then got our whole bodies soaked. Yeah.
Nothing like being a kid in the country in
Nope.
spring, man.
It's the best. Yeah.
That you well. Good luck tonight in your big hockey game. Good
It's
luck
a big
tomorrow
deal. We might have
morning.
a fan.
Tomorrow morning, you'll need more luck, and we'll be back Thursday to preview the
The
weekend.
weekend and talk about the Flames and the Oilers. Hopefully 4 games for the Flames, I'm hoping, and 11 games for the Oilers for you. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you Thursday morning.
See you, Tyson.